Sorry. 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 If you're offended, sorry. 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 If you're offended, sorry.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is week 2 of Sorry If You're Offended with Scott and Drew. It is December 15th, 2019. And we're going to talk about some shit that you don't want to hear.
But they need to hear.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start off a little light. You heard about the $120,000 banana art?
I heard a little bit about it. Fill us in.
It's all over the internet, and there's a banana that's taped to a wall that costs $120,000, and someone ate it, and it's this big, huge deal that doesn't matter. I just feel like it's just a way for people to click, like clickbait, basically. Like, if someone really paid $120,000 for a banana, they have some fucking problems.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So it was just legitimately just a banana?
Just a banana
with
duct
taped to the wall?
Duct tape, yep.
I don't understand art these days.
Yeah, I think it might have been like the money went to like some kind of cause or something really ridiculous, but it's like...
So did that person have to pay $120,000 for it?
Yeah, and I think he's the one that ate it, or he had someone else eat it, or I don't know. It just seemed like it was literally, the whole story was just like a click thing, and the thing that pissed me off is like, you get the one person that sees it, so they share it.
Of course.
And then it just keeps going for weeks of just different people sharing it, like it's like the hottest news story in the world.
Well, and then it inevitably becomes like a meme. So I have seen like memes that have come from this banana thing. Like saw somebody like taped a shawarma to a wall and made it like a political thing. Just stop.
Yes, please.
Just stop. What are they gonna do with the banana? It's gonna rot. Is that the point of the art?
I think that was the point.
Oh, yeah, it's like some kind of commentary on like death and decay or something.
Yeah, but supposedly they kept replacing it.
Oh.
So like they put a new banana up, and then like someone else paid for it. I don't know. I didn't read into it. Like I read like a little bit into it. And I was like, I can't waste any more brain cells on this banana. So that's a weird topic to start with, but I just had to throw it out there because I love bananas, but I don't love them for $120,000.
Yeah, I really have nothing to say about that other than just stop, I guess.
So I guess another thing in recent news, I seen someone on Twitter posting stuff about how the Supreme Court is now going to force abortion patients to sit there and get a what is that called? The little probe thing, ultrasound. Force them to get an ultrasound before they can have an abortion, and the physician's going to describe their embryo and the fetus and how far it is along before they're allowed to actually go through the abortion. So it's
trying to guilt trip people into not having abortions.
Yes, but then I've seen people reply to this. Like, for instance, I'm not going to drop names on this because I don't even know this person, but they posted that they're forcing abortion patients to lie on a table and a probe is inserted into their vagina.
What?
Yeah, I just want to say I don't think that's how ultrasounds work.
I don't think so either. I mean, I have had an ultrasound on my kidneys once. And
did they stick a probe in your vagina?
There was no probes in my vagina, no. It was just cold liquid and, a little scanner gun type thing.
Yep. I mean, do you think it's that really big of a deal if you're going in for abortion, I'm pretty sure someone telling you how far along your baby isn't going to change your idea if you want an abortion or not.
I can kind of see both sides. So the first thing that comes to mind when you brought this up is that I think about like in Canada and like other countries how they put like pictures of black lungs and shit
on
cigarette packs, and like of course the smokers are still going to buy it anyways, but it's kind of like, if you want to buy it, this is the reality of what you're doing. This is the
results.
And I honestly don't see anything wrong with that. I understand why people are, of course, outraged because that's the world we live in. But it's kind of the same thing. I mean, no matter how you stand on abortion, I don't think that's really the issue here. But you are taking away the chance of a life, I guess. And I think that you should maybe have to confront that.
Yeah, exactly. I think people are worried, worried about, well, I don't want to be affected by thinking that it's a baby. Well, it's a damn baby.
Yeah.
And you should know the repercussions, yes.
It shouldn't really change your opinion, one way or
Yes.
the other. It's the reality of the situation. As far as the whole abortion thing goes, again, it's like we talked about last week. I really have no dog in the race because
Yep.
I'll never get pregnant. So do your thing. But I do think that, yeah, you should, before you make a decision like that, you should definitely contemplate the reality of what you're doing. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't know about vaginal probes, but
I don't either. I just read that and it really made me mad because I was thinking, pretty sure they don't stick anything up your vagina to
I think a normal run-of-the-mill ultrasound where they're like, hey, are your babies, how many weeks along at this point? This is what's developed. This is what's not. Are you sure you want to do this? I mean, really, I think it just kind of gives them a chance if they hadn't previously.
if they had second thoughts,
Or if they maybe made a snap decision and didn't really contemplate the situation, it kind of gives them a chance to make an informed decision. And I don't think there's really a reason not to be informed when you're making any decision. So I don't see anything wrong with it. But again, I don't have a vagina, so I guess.
Yeah, we don't really have too much say in this.
Yeah.
But so recent news also, the Peloton ad.
Okay,
hear
so
all the controversy on the Peloton
all right,
ad.
I guess I live in the dark ages. So I heard that there was controversy with the Peloton ad. I don't know what the situation was, so please fill me in. I've been kind of dying to know what this is about.
This is pretty classic and funny, if you ask me. So there's a Peloton ad for a girl riding a bike. Her husband buys it for her for Christmas, and it just shows her throughout a year just riding it and loving it and getting in shape. And people are really pissed off because when she got it, she was 130 pounds.
Why are they pissed off?
Because they think it should be for fat people, I'm assuming.
Are you serious?
Or people that aren't in shape already. So they're like, why would Peloton put an ad up of someone that only lost 20 pounds? They went from 130 to 110.
Because it's realistic?
Yeah, you don't have to be out of shape to enjoy a Peloton.
And in fact, I think that people who are in shape probably would enjoy it more
than people that are out of shape. Yes,
that's
why they're in shape.
That's
because
what
they
the
enjoy
outrage
it.
is.
Yes, I'm 100% positive that's what the. I'm not going to say 100%, but I'm pretty damn 90% positive. The whole thing was the fact that she wasn't someone that was completely out of shape during the ad and shown how she got into shape.
I feel like that would be more deceptive. Okay, because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, that in order to lose a significant amount of weight, you can't just rely on riding your Peloton. There are many components that go into successful and healthy weight loss, such as, diet. So what are you even talking about? Oh my God.
They just find something to be outraged at, some company that has more money than them, and they can feel woke for.
Yeah, why do they even care? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Why waste your time complaining about how many of those people are ever going to buy? Do you know how expensive a Peloton is?
Yeah, way too expensive.
Most of those people are never going to buy a Peloton. I'm never going to buy a Peloton.
Nope. I think that's why they're probably pissed, is it's just really expensive and they can't afford one, so they're going to find a new way to
try and bring them down?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't know. It's pretty screwed up. I just don't. People are crazy. And I mean, if you have it, actually, we should probably throw this out here. We do have an email, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, nice. Yes.
It is sorry if you're offended podcast at Gmail. So if you have anything to say about this or any other topics that we will be having, please email us and contact us.
Yeah, please enlighten us as to what the outrage is about the Peloton ad, because
Yes.
you just told me, and I'm still sitting here
Baffled?
something is not adding up in my mind as far as why anybody gives a fuck.
We also have a Facebook page now, which is Sorry If You're Offended podcast on Facebook. So please go add that and throw some comments on there and let us know what we should be talking about and what we're wrong about or right about or what offends you and what doesn't offend you. That'd be great. We love some interaction with some people because we don't get enough.
Oh, I have a topic, and since you just made me think of it with your Peloton thing. Did you hear about the Walmart Christmas sweater?
Yeah, slightly. The cocaine?
Yeah, so Walmart released this Christmas sweater, not realizing that it depicted, I think it was a snowman, doing lines of cocaine. And it was on their shelves, and then took somebody on social media to be like, wait, what the fuck is happening here, for them to realize it and take it down, which I find absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I find it hilarious, but I also find it kind of dumb that they even took it down. I mean, I've seen Walmart sell some pretty fucked up shit, and I get that that's drug use, but
I mean, I want that shirt. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
so
lie.
saying they just lost money. Someone's gonna buy a
Yes,
shirt with a snowman.
I have
snorting
seen.
coke.
I have seen like other like printing companies like since pop up like selling that shirt, which is also hilarious. Capitalism, folks. You know, you gotta love it. But I think the whole thing is just super funny. Like, what? I don't understand how that even happens. Do they have no quality control of their products or what?
Yeah, that has to be. They're just someone that's up top is just like, yeah, that looks like a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good idea because they could have made a lot of money, but now they should have just capitalized on the controversy.
Yeah, now actually that we're talking about, maybe that was the whole point. Maybe they purposely let it through so there'd be a huge controversy.
Yeah, but they're not even capitalizing on it because they stopped selling the shirt immediately.
Yeah, true point.
But I'm with you. My question is like, why? Why not sell the shirt? Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, that's money you could be making right now.
Yeah.
And not paying your workers.
Who are you to tell me what to wear in my shirt? Walmart? Maybe I want a snowman doing cocaine.
Ooh, this one will be a touchy one. I think you'll really like it too because one of our favorite bands of all time
Let's do this.
is Brand New.
Brand new, yes.
And, you know, he went through that little sexual conduct Me Too movement recently. And you also have a Spotify, which tells you your most played artists.
Yes. Okay, I love where you're going with this. Yep.
And Brand New supposedly has been blocked from Spotify's most played artists. So people that know they've listened to Brand New more than any other band and their top song.
Yeah. Like
has
their
been-
artist of the decade
yes.
and stuff.
Yeah, I don't have Spotify. I'm an Apple guy. So,
Yeah. So
but-
they do like a year, like the year-end rap thing where they tell you, you know, who you've listened to the most, what songs you've listened to the most. And since it's the end of the decade, they now have your decade wrapped. So they'll tell you like who your artist of the decade is. And I did hear about this. So apparently anybody who is a devoted listener to the band Brand New, that band was conspicuously absent from their year and decade wrapped, which is just pretty
little touchy.
ridiculous if you ask me. It's weird though because I do have it like in my they do all kinds of playlists. I have it in my like frequent listens. It's in
It
that
pops up
it
in
pops
there?
in that, yeah, which is a curated playlist, but it wasn't in my decade or year in review, no.
Yeah, I know. I've seen a lot of people that actually popped up like their past from last year.
And it
or
was on
whatever.
there?
Yeah, and it was like most played songs and all stuff. But then this year, it just like disappeared completely.
I have a real issue with the whole Brand New issue. So if you guys aren't familiar with the band Brand New, they were an indie rock band that came up around 2005, 2006 is when they got really big. And then they continued to be really popular with the youths for about 5-6 years. And the controversy came very recently when some girls came out and said that Jessie, God damn it, Jessie Lacey, cut that part out. It came up recently when some girls came forward and said that Jessie Lacey, who was the lead singer and songwriter of the band, had masturbated on a webcam in front of them when they were underage. I think they were maybe 16 at the time. And it effectively ended the band and, you know, ruined his career.
All their tour dropped out. In fact, another one of our favorite artists, Kevin Devine, was touring with him at the time, and he like completely threw them under the bus. I don't know if you remember that. He was just like, I'm done with Brand New. I don't like
100%.
I've been friends with them for my whole entire life, but I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Like, I'm sorry, Kevin. Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't think that's cool. Okay, so obviously what Jessie Lacey did is inappropriate, and I'm not here to tell you that
Masturbate in front of kids.
yeah, or that he shouldn't have received some kind of repercussions for what he did. But I do think that
He's not the only one in Brand New. So why are
that's a huge thing. Yes, I think that number one, I think that it shouldn't have necessarily been the end of his career because of that. I mean, everybody makes terrible, stupid decisions from time to time, and this one is obviously awful. But as you said, Brand New is a band. It wasn't Jessie and the Lacey's. It was Brand New, and towards the end of their career, he was actually not writing a lot of the songs. You know, other members of the band were contributing a lot more, and effectively it just ruined the careers of several people because of his decisions, which I don't agree with. I also don't agree with the fact that an entity like Spotify trying to censor and act like Brand New never happened because it did, and it was a huge influential part of a lot of people's lives, mine included. And even if I don't agree with what he did, to pretend like those songs don't still have incredible meaning for me, or weren't a huge part of my life, is just asinine. It doesn't make any sense.
Any person that, because I've known many people that as soon as that came out, they were like, I'm just done listening with Brand New. I'm never listening to him again. Like, come on, dude. You listened to him way before, and songs have like ties to memories of your life.
100%.
Like, for instance, you were talking about it, 2006. Like, we were listening to Deja on To Do That around then, and we went snowboarding.
Yep.
And I remember it was your birthday, and we were hanging out, and it was just like the coolest album of this. Like, I think of that every time I think of Deja. Like I remember
the first time I listened to that album, and I thought it was the most incredible thing I'd ever heard in my entire life. I literally remember I was at one of our friends' house, and he thought it was terrible. He's like, "I'm gonna show you this," and as soon as I heard it, it was just like, it was life changing. And to pretend like that didn't happen is just, it's something that I can't do, and I don't think that I should have to do, and I don't think that a company that I pay to use their services that has their songs still on it should tell me to pretend like it's
it
not,
never happened.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about censorship, is like, once you start doing it to one person, there's no stop to it. So that's the whole point of like freedom of speech and freedom of, we could talk about like Alex Jones too, like on YouTube, how he's banned. Like you shouldn't be able to ban someone unless they're actually physically doing.
I think it's a dangerous thing. I mean, and I think that if you're gonna start censoring things like that, then you need to make it known to your customers, and they need to be able to make an informed decision whether they want to continue to use your service or not. I don't think that it's something that you should just do without
behind people's backs, exactly, and not letting them know.
With the Alex Jones thing, as well as with Brand New or whatever bands that they might be trying to censor off
Michael
Spotify.
Jackson.
Yeah, but the crazy thing to me is the fact that if they had this moral high ground that they were standing on Spotify, why would they continue to have their music on there at all? Mm-hmm. It's because they know that millions of people listen to it all the time.
Yep.
They're making money off of it.
Yep. They're not worried about,
So they're hypocrites.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I hate Spotify anyway, so fuck you, Spotify.
No, I disagree. I do love Spotify, but I don't like this about Spotify.
I think that whole thing about Spotify, the decade in review and the most songs list, like, if you really need an app to tell you what song or what band you listen to the most, then clearly you weren't fucking listening to them.
You're being an elitist. It's just a cool thing to see.
I get that.
I like it. I'm not gonna lie. When I see like, oh, this is the bands that I listen. I mean, like, hey, and you'll be surprised sometimes. A year is a long time, and like, I don't know about you, but your musical taste kind of change. Like, you overplay things, you get sick of things. So I like to see in total from January to December what the most was, I guess, because it might surprise you. Mine was surprising. I felt like, I mean, not my artist of the decade, shout out Manchester Orchestra, but my year in review was kind of surprising because I went through different phases this year. I had a lot of things happen in my life, and my music taste changed as those things were happening in my life this year. So what I thought might have been the most, it was on there, but it wasn't the most,
Mm-hmm. I don't know. To me, it's just the whole data collection thing. It kind of freaks me out. I mean, I get it. It's just songs, but it starts with songs, and it's
inescapable.
And then it's gonna, it's everywhere now.
Look around us. Look how many devices we have that are connected to the internet right now in this room. The data collection is inescapable, man.
Yep.
We're in the matrix. Just accept it. There's nothing we can do.
So this is kind of a hot topic too, I guess.
Okay.
Just people on Facebook, and I mean, I get where women want to feel empowered and stuff, but do you think being half naked, posting pictures is empowering, or is it attention?
I think it's both. It's a difficult topic because
again, we're not women.
Yeah, we're not women, and obviously a lot of people would feel that we don't have a right to have an opinion about it. But I think it's both. I think it can be empowering, but it's definitely an attention grab. I mean, why else? That's the very basis of what they're doing. They're asking for people to look at them and give them, that
gratification.
Exactly. So maybe that gratification makes them feel empowered. I don't know. I guess.
I'm just kind of afraid that that's trending as empowerment when we got actual people, young girls that other young girls should be looking up to, that aren't half naked that are doing good things. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know. I just think like the whole like Kardashian
okay,
and
so
the whole like
I hear
half
you.
naked, but I mean they got so many other people.
I hear you, but playing devil's advocate, who are you to say what is a good thing for a young girl to look up to?
I mean, I agree.
So I see both sides, honestly.
I'll put it this way: I'm a guy, and I don't look up to Ron Jeremy because he has a big dick and he's fucking girls. I'll tell you that right now.
Are you sure about that?
I am.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's a weird world.
I don't know. I guess I just think
it's a hard
even
topic.
on a guy's thing. I don't think you should look up to someone by the way they look. I think you should be looking up to someone
I agree with
on
you.
what their actions are. Like, people look up to Brad Pitt because he's sexy, or Tom Cruise, and dude, Tom Cruise is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So if you look up to Tom Cruise, like I don't know, we can push this on guys. I'm just thinking like there's so many more important people doing things.
I guess it depends on why you look up to them and what your goals in life are. Everybody has different drives,
Yeah.
And for some people, sexuality is a drive, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I mean, it's a part of human existence. It's always been a part of human existence. So, I guess if that's what makes you feel empowered, then go for it. Why not? But if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then yeah, no, you should really definitely reevaluate where you're at.
Yeah, I just feel like the people I see that act like they're being empowered, or I feel like that's what it is. It's almost like they're not that they're acting, but they feel like that's what's going to get them empowered, but it doesn't give them the full empowerment, so they keep going farther and farther with it, thinking that that's what's going to help them out.
I think that most people, there is an underlying insecurity there that they're trying to compensate for.
Yeah, everyone's a little depressed and has...
Yeah, maybe they're looking. Maybe the reason that they do that is because they don't feel that way, and they're looking for people to kind of
make them feel better.
100%. Fill in that void that's missing of self-confidence with outside praise. But again, like I said, I mean, if that's what works for you, that's what gets you through the day, and helps you sleep at night, then whatever. Don't bother me. But I can see how it can also be a dangerous if it's readily accepted or not readily celebrated in society. It could be dangerous because it could potentially influence girls who aren't driven that way to act that way because they feel like they have to.
Mm-hmm.
I think the real message here is do what drives you. Don't do what you see other people doing on Instagram or Facebook or on TV because you want to be like them. Do it because it makes you happy.
That's what you want to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Next topic we can touch on is I seen this other, little stupid meme, and it's again about millennials versus boomers and stuff, and this one's like, boomers say, millennials just don't understand how the world works. Also boomers, tonight at midnight, Facebook will take ownership of all my photos unless I copy and paste this text in my status. So it's like, I get it. You're trying to say boomers don't even understand, like, internet?
Yeah.
But I think the whole point is that the internet is not the fucking world.
Okay, can I first just say that I fucking hate the boomers thing. I mean, maybe I'm...
Yeah, me too.
Maybe in the minority, but I just hate it. I don't think it's clever or it doesn't make you sound edgy. To me, you sound ignorant. I don't know.
Yes, that's my whole point with this
topic. I don't like it, but... So the internet is not everything. No, you're right. Real life is everything, but you can't ignore the fact that the internet is a vital part of our society, and to not be able to function effectively on it does make you ignorant and pretty much useless today. So I think that's what the joke is about.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Facebook.
Yeah, well, Facebook is. Yeah, I haven't been seriously considering just getting off Facebook because I don't see any value in it anymore, but I
know. I just think it's funny because, I mean, again, they're talking about, they can't work Facebook. Yeah, they can't work Facebook, but, they're probably out there working the stock market and other things that millennials don't. There's two generations of...
I just hate this generational divide, this generation war that seems to be happening between millennials and baby boomers. It's just like...
Yeah, because millennials don't realize the fact that 20 years from now, we're going to be the boomers.
Yeah.
And
you are so right about that, because here's the thing. I just started this new job, right? And I am 32. I'll be 32 in 2 weeks, which is not old by any standards, but everybody that I work with is like between 18 and 22, and I'm not exaggerating. And for the first time in my life, I find myself in situations where I'm starting to feel like the old guy because I just don't understand what they're talking about, or like, no, I feel ignorant, and it's weird. It's a really weird thing for me to come to grips with. So yes, you are right. Like it or not, millennials, or whatever you want to call yourself, people who are in our general age demographic, very soon we're going to be that generation, and we're going to be clueless. I'm already clueless. I listen to my nieces talk about stuff. I'm like, why do you like this? Like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I literally asked my sister the other day if the things that we liked when we were kids were as dumb as the stuff that they like, and she was like, yes, it was. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's life. You're gonna be in that same exact situation. So instead of being the asshole now, you should be trying to join with the boomers to help them
together.
Understand.
Yeah, just work together. I mean, we all got to share this world, right? So
exactly.
This divide isn't doing any good for anybody. You're not making the world a better place by telling them they were wrong about their beliefs. When they were our age, the world was a different place then. You don't understand them because you are them and you don't realize it. We all just kind of work within the confines of the society that we exist, and society is an ever-changing, ever-growing thing. It evolves. So what we consider to be acceptable, normal, okay now is going to be a lot different in 30 years. They're going to have a totally different set of standards, and we're going to be the ones who are like, no, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, half of us aren't going to be people. We're going to be fucking hybrid cyborg robots hanging out with Elon Musk's fucking driving cars everywhere and shit.
So I agree with you. I hate the whole boomer millennial thing. I hate the term boomer. I don't like it. I don't know why. It just irks me. But
yeah, I don't really like it either. It reminds me of like, I don't know why, but like Flintstones or something. I don't know. It just reminds me of like some old.
It's like how liberals got so like upset, about conservatives calling them snowflakes, a few years ago. It's the same thing. You're doing the same thing. Like, and then they were, oh, that's so dumb, blah blah blah. You're doing the same thing. You're a hypocrite.
Yep.
Stop being a hypocrite.
Completely agree.
Like, you want to call that generation boomers because they're baby boomers, okay, but the whole like, okay, boomer as an insult, you sound dumb. Like, just because somebody belongs to a certain demographic doesn't make them inherently ignorant. There are boomers who are very smart.
Yeah, smarter than the actual millennials.
Smarter
because they're the ones that created the fucking computers.
More tech savvy, more informed, more woke, whatever term you want to use.
Yeah, go call fucking Bill Gates a boomer. See what happens.
It's like, okay, it's just like any other, I guess, demographic, any other group that feels like they shouldn't all be lumped in together. They shouldn't all be taken as one kind of idea represents all of them. It's the same thing with the generationally. You can't honestly believe that every baby boomer is an ignorant, bigot, because that's just stupid. That's not how people work,
Completely agree.
I feel like I'm struggling to find the right words today. I might have had too much alcohol last night. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. I've been sober for 15 days now. Yeah, 15 days now, and it's the worst I've ever...
Oh, good for you.
Worst experience I've ever had in my life.
I'm going to do that in the new year. Try to lose some more weight.
Drinking and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't ever quit smoking pot. I'll tell you right now, it sucks. I don't really got too much more, but I guess we'll throw... I got one on here, but we'll save that one for last. But let's talk about Donald Trump.
Okay.
And this impeachment.
It's still going.
I know. I think it is a complete fiasco, a fucking joke. I think we're going to get nowhere from it. And in fact, we're going to get another 4 years of Donald Trump because of this.
I 100% agree. And it's funny because I just had this argument with a friend of mine the other day who was talking about, talking about Bernie Sanders. And, I thought 4 years ago I voted for Bernie in the primary. I believed in him.
Me too.
I still think he would have beat Trump. I knew Hillary wouldn't. But I don't think he has a chance in hell of winning this time. And I do agree with you. I think.
Well, I don't think he even has a chance of winning again the actual.
The primary, no.
Yeah, it's going to be Biden.
Which is a huge mistake. But
yeah.
I think that It doesn't matter because I agree with you. This whole impeachment fiasco, all this is doing is strengthening Donald Trump's bid to be reelected. As you said, nothing's going to come of it. It's not going to pass the Senate. The Senate is GOP controlled, so it's really just a waste of time. Someone I was arguing with about it yesterday or the other day was telling me, well, it's like if you were convicted of murder and when you knew you were going to get away with it, we still try to try you, right? I was like, it's apples and oranges. It's nothing like that. I think it's a waste of taxpayers' money. I think it's a waste of the attention of Congress, where they could be working and
there's multiple
fixing
issues,
other serious
going on
issues
right
in this
now.
country. Yes, absolutely.
I almost think it's purposely there to smokescreen the other issues, so we don't realize what's going on.
I believe
Like
that.
we're just everyone's focused on this impeachment, and there's so many other things going on that we should be focused on, and it's just blowing right over our heads because all we can care about is how this guy needs to get out of office.
It's the kind of thing that makes me think that there really are no political parties, and it's all just like one.
Me
one
too.
big zeitgeist.
I think we're already under a one world government.
Yeah, 100%. And they just keep a secret. Yeah,
Yep.
I believe that too. But we don't have to go down that rabbit hole right now. We can just for the sake of brevity and taking things at face value, I just think that all it's doing is really igniting his voter base and making them more likely to come out to the polls and support him. I think the whole Democratic primary, this whole fucking mess,
Clown show. Yeah.
yes, it's dividing their party to where it doesn't matter who gets the primary, nobody's gonna win because their voter base is so divided.
I hate the fact that every issue and every debate is pretty much just the worst thing that is happening. The thing that we need to solve right now is Donald Trump. Like, no, let's talk about actual things we need to solve and what you're going to do to solve them, not just, I'm going to beat Donald Trump.
Right.
And then, like, no, come on, let's talk about...
Well, and it's just been one thing after another. That's the whole thing about it, is that, like, yeah, maybe Trump is dirty. Who knows? But it's like they have spent the last 4 years trying every single thing they can do to get him out of office. And it's like, hey, guess what, dumbasses? As you're doing this, he just served his whole term. And he's going to do it again.
Yep.
Like...
And honestly, I think you've seen I was on Facebook the other day with someone. Name one thing that he's actually done that's actually affected your life personally in a bad way.
I got nothing.
I got nothing either. And we could talk about, he's racist and he's throwing Mexicans out. Okay, well, Obama deported way more people than he has.
Yeah.
And no one wants to talk about that.
Yeah. Obama also ordered more military strikes than any president in the last 50 years.
Yes.
Nobody talks about that.
Trump is actually pulling people out.
Yeah.
And he talks about how there's actually warmongers that want him to put more troops in, but he's taking people out.
There are plenty of things, maybe character and personality-wise, that Trump is fucking awful about. But if you look at his job as president, what has he really done that is so offensive to people? And they can't really tell anything.
The thing is the wall to them. That's
the border
the biggest
wall.
thing.
Okay, here's a newsflash. Every fucking country in the world has secure borders. Every country.
Yep.
In Europe, their borders are way more secure than they are here. We have the largest unprotected border in the world. Why would we not take steps to secure it? What is so wrong with that?
And another thing is, like, half of these people that are fleeing here are fleeing from socialist, communist countries.
Yeah.
And we want socialism.
We want social. I don't want socialism.
Well, the left is pushing
big time
hard on socialism.
Well, and that's why I kind of think that Bernie has jumped the shark, as they say, because he's just like straight up come out as I'm a socialist, basically, as opposed to before where it was just like it was a democratic socialism. It's more of this is what we want, which is kind of really crazy if you think about it in the scale of world history. Everybody's so anti-Russia.
Yeah.
What do you think that you're building here, folks? Like,
yep.
You need to kind of understand politics a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Hey, we don't want our government telling us what to do. We want to be able to vote for abortion. Well, if you give the government all the power, they're going to do what they want to do.
Yeah. You can't have it both ways.
Yes.
It's either you want more government or you want
less government.
Yeah. I personally want more freedom.
Yes.
That's why I tend to decide that way.
Now that I've gotten older, I have been pushing a little bit more right, but I'm definitely still more centered. Like, I do believe in, human rights and civil
100%.
rights, but I do believe in guns.
100%.
and freedom of speech.
That's exactly where I sit. I mean, I feel you. I believe in personal freedom above all else. So I've always considered myself to be very moderate. But I believe in every personal freedom, as I've said many times. So this whole circus of a government that we have going on now, and this election cycle, the whole thing is just so unconscionable to me. I can't even really bring myself to keep up with it as much as I should. And then I mean I know it makes me sound ignorant, and I feel ignorant at times, but it's just I literally don't have the mental capacity to deal with it, because it is just so absurd on all sides.
I completely agree. So the last topic I have, this one is also going to be a very interesting one. Recently, Harvey Weinstein and his accusers have settled in court.
Of course they have.
And his insurance is paying it, so he's not paying any dime. But I think my big issue about this is they're settling.
Is there criminal charges against Weinstein?
I'm pretty sure they were criminal, yes.
How do they settle criminal charges in court?
They're getting money. The accusers are getting paid enough money where they're going to just say...
They're going to drop the case?
Yes, drop the case, where he gets no charges. He's not going to get in trouble for anything. So my point is, like, I get that. I'm not saying that this didn't happen. But, I mean, is there is there really a price? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like if it affected you so much where you got to call out and try to ruin this guy's life, I would feel like there'd be no amount of money for me to be like, okay, this never happened. Okay. Forget about it.
So I agree with you. But again, I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate here. So I see both sides. I definitely understand what you're saying. Like, it kind of cheapens the whole situation by settling for money. But at the end of the day, what do these people, these victims, gain by Weinstein going to jail for 2 years? Nothing. You know, they deserve some compensation for what they had to put up with.
But you don't think that if he got charged, they would have got compensated anyways?
No, I don't think so. Probably not to the degree. You know, I had to do a little more research in it, but I don't think that they would make the kind of money that they're probably making on a settlement for him not to go to jail. So to that end, I say good for them. Get your money. You know, you deserve it. He is a fucking piece of shit human being who did awful things, and you know, he got caught, and he deserves some recompense. And hey, let's be honest, for somebody of his stature financially, and his position, prison isn't going to be like it would be for you and me. You know what I mean?
He would be in there just like
he'd be in a resort,
meals,
he would be in a
steak dinners,
like Martha Stewart. He'd be like in a resort for 2 years, you know, and then he would get out on good behavior, and then it would all go away, and he'd still have his fortune, and literally nothing would have been gained from it. So, you know, I don't see anything wrong with the victims taking the settlement. This is a situation where it's well documented that these things happened. It's not like the Michael Jackson thing where there's some controversy and stuff like that. So the guy's career is ruined. His image is ruined. I say good for the victims in this one. Honestly, it doesn't bother me.
I don't think his career is ruined though. I think he's.
You think he's going to work in Hollywood again?
Fuck yeah! They still got Weinstein Group.
So what? He's out. He's ousted.
Oh, dude, he'll be back. You watch. Just like they all come back, dude.
So if Harvey Weinstein can come back to Hollywood, but Jesse Lacey can't be on my year-end Wrapped, this is fucked. Okay?
Yeah, it is fucked. Trust me. I don't know. I just see him coming back. I see it just, you know. I don't know. I think he'll probably wait, because I think the stage we are in right now with this whole wokeness, I think that's gonna have to come to an end.
Oh, I think that we can't continue down this path.
And I think once it does, I think he'll be back. I think. Yes, there'll be a few people that will be, just like the whole Michael Vick thing we touched on last week. You're going to have the few people that just still can't let it go.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have the people that just say, dude, that was a long time ago. Let him do his thing. And I mean, I don't know. The whole thing didn't even surprise me to begin with.
No, because that's honestly,
Hollywood.
It's honestly what you expect to hear coming from Hollywood. Yes. You know, it's like one of those things that have like been joked about forever, but there's a reason that those jokes exist, you know? So, here's another news flash. News flash. Weinstein's not the only piece of shit in Hollywood. There are people doing the same thing that he was doing right now. Guarantee in Hollywood at this moment, there's some wannabe actress sucking somebody's dick for a job right now.
Yep. Completely.
And it's never going to stop. because that's how the world has always worked.
Yep.
And if it wasn't Hollywood, it's any other industry. There's someone abusing their power, and there's someone being abused. And I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm just saying that it's the facts of the world. And
don't act surprised when it comes out.
That person also, here, unpopular opinion, here we go with the offending person. That person also makes the choice to suck the dick. You know, like...
Yeah, they really wanted that fucking movie.
You want that job. You want that money. Right. You could come back and be a school teacher and not have to do that. But no, you want the fame. That's the price you pay. I'm sorry. I mean, like, honestly, it's never going to end. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You can be... That's the whole thing about this woke thing that you said has to come to an end. Okay. You can be the most socially conscious person ever. And you can always fight for what's right. You can always try and help the little guy. But you're never going to change human nature.
Nope.
There are certain things that have always happened throughout the world, throughout the different societies, that are always going to continue to happen. And no, it's not okay that they happen, but it is a fact of reality. Human beings are a slave to their instincts, and everybody's instincts are different. And there are certain good and bad instincts that are always going to persevere, and there's nothing you can do to change it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I want to bring up your point of them. If they really didn't want that part, they wouldn't have sucked his dick. When I was like 19, 20, I was working at this place. I won't drop names that I'm not going to call this guy out.
No,
but
don't call him out.
There's a guy I worked for who was gay, older guy, owned something. He was my boss. He offered me $1,000 a week, a Mercedes, and a penthouse downtown to be basically to suck his dick and be his little bitch and fuck him whenever he wants. And you can currently see I don't have a Mercedes. I'm not getting $1,000 a week, and I don't live downtown Detroit.
Yeah.
It was a hard no. That was the day I quit that job.
Yep, and it has nothing to do with gay, straight, whatever, because it's just who you are as a person and what motivates you. Because if money and a Mercedes and a sweet place to live, if that's what motivated you, then you would have sucked the dick too. You know, it's like it's who you are as a person. So I'm sorry to these actresses who were victims of Weinstein, but nobody forced you to do that stuff. You know,
Completely agree.
I understand that you had a dream and that you might be a very talented actress, but at the end of the day, you are the one who sacrificed your self-respect in exchange for a role in a movie. So I don't know how I feel about it. Like I said, for the victims, good for you. Get your money. It's all good. I'm not justifying Weinstein by any means. I don't think that he should continue to work now that he's been exposed. The real thing here is that it's going to always happen. I'm sorry.
Yep.
It's just the facts of the world. There's nothing you can do to change it. You can crusade forever. There's still going to be people in power and people who abuse that power forever.
All right.
So I think you missed a big topic. Did you see that Time magazine released their person of the year for 2019?
Yes, I did. I don't agree with it, but hey, what about you?
For those of you who aren't aware, Time announced who their person of the year is for 2019, and this year they chose Greta Thunberg, who is the activist, the young activist who went in front of various world leaders and basically chastised them for killing the planet, and kind of ignited a whole controversy all in itself. I don't necessarily want to talk about whether I agree with her being the person of the year or not, because you can have your own opinion about that. But I have seen some interesting things on Facebook because inevitably it spurred a huge debate between people about whether it's right or wrong, and her,
especially Trump.
Her in general, what she stands for, whether she's legitimate or whatever. But I've seen some interesting comments from people who say that it's not okay for people to attack her because she's a child. How do you feel about that?
I think that's bullshit. If she didn't want to be attacked, she wouldn't have stood up and said what she wanted to say. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like as soon as, like, for instance, us right now, we're talking about shit we should, people that are going to be offended by it. We know we're going to get backlash.
Oh, yeah. We're open to it. Absolutely.
When you put yourself out there, you got to be ready for the repercussions.
I agree.
I don't care how old you are.
I agree 100%. And generally speaking, obviously, I think that, of course, children should be protected and attacking a child in general is not okay. But we're not in this situation. I think that she ceases to be a child first. She put herself in a position where
and she's what, 16?
Something like that. Where she put herself in a position though where her age has no effect. She literally went in front of world leaders and made bold statements and opened herself up to this, as you said. So I don't think that there's any issue with people criticizing her or questioning her or her motivations, because that's what anybody who's in the public eye is open to. But I've seen some people having some pretty
nasty things to say,
pretty vulgar, yes, on both sides, about the situation. So I think with her being named Person of the Year, it definitely raises some questions about how we should view, I guess, the situation, and how what's okay and what's not okay,
Mm-hmm. I agree. I don't know. I know you didn't want to touch on it. I just don't think. I think there's plenty of other things, plenty of other people that have done some things, to help the world, that actually help the world.
Yeah.
Like there's a guy that actually has created a thing that pulls plastic out of the ocean.
Yeah,
there's so many other things.
Okay, I don't. Okay, we can go down that road. I don't think she should be Person of the Year either. I think that the whole thing, the whole Greta thing, it was just
it's a face.
Yeah, it was a face, and it worked very well. The desired result is that she's basically an actress, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that's not going to be a very popular opinion, but yeah, I think that she's basically an actress, and she's being manipulated by people who are in positions of power or influence. And I obviously it worked because it ignited this controversy. I also think that it's very dangerous for us to start listening to the opinions of someone so young on a world stage. There is a reason that. How do I want to put this?
There's a reason that you can't be president until you're 35.
100%.
There's a reason.
100%,
yes.
exactly.
Your brain don't even fully develop until you're 26.
Think about the way that you thought about things when you were that age.
Yep.
I think about the way I thought about things when I was that age, and it kind of it's like
Exactly.
cringeworthy almost, And I'm not saying that she's off base with everything. I'm just saying that shaping political opinion around the thoughts of a child is probably not the right road for you to be traveling down.
Nope. I completely agree.
So I don't know. It's interesting. It's been something that's kind of come up a few times over the last year. After the shooting in Orlando with the gun rights with the kid who was championing taking away guns. Was the Orlando one?
The Orlando one, I think, was the gay nightclub.
No, that was a nightclub. One of them though. Oh, God, that's terrible. One of them.
There was a recent one just in New Jersey too, and they don't really talk about it, but that was all. The last few ones actually were targeted at Jewish people. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
Like the synagogue one that was in Philadelphia and the New Jersey one, they were targeting Jewish people too. That the news didn't really cover. I think we kind of touched on that a little bit last week, just how.
I feel like we're just rambling on this. We should probably.
Well, all right. Well, I want to bring something up though, since you kind of brought up the Greta and the whole climate change thing. Climate change. How do you feel about climate change?
I'm kind of in the middle on it, honestly. I don't necessarily think that it is extreme as we're being led to believe, especially with the story this year that the ozone layer is literally repairing itself and could be completely repaired within our lifetimes.
Yes.
So if things were as dire as they're saying that they are, then I don't understand how that would be possible. But I obviously see that there are differences in the seasons than I remember when I was a kid. I also kind of subscribe to the school of thinking that everything happens in cycles. So
yes.
The reason that we see our climate changing throughout our lifetimes is because it's part of a cycle, and it's going to continue to cycle. And
100% agree. I think all of this blaming certain industries is kind of just another industry, just kind of like the cotton industry did to the hemp industry. It's just kind of pointing stuff out because we really want to talk about stuff. All right, let's talk about electrical power. You need power plants to run that. Like, how are you going to charge your fucking car? The sun doesn't shine here 24/7.
True.
There's many places that don't get sun. There's many places that don't get wind, and each place needs a power plant in order to run it. So there's another thing. People talk about ice melting and our ocean levels rising. That just doesn't happen. I'm sorry. Go take a fucking glass of water, fill it up with ice, pour water in it, and wait for that glass to overflow. It's not going to fucking happen.
That's true. That is a good point.
It is not going to happen.
That is a good point.
The only thing that happens when ice melts is the salt water.
Well, the volume is the same, yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
The salt water will mix with fresh water.
I think
so. It would be a little bit, the water content will be different, and it might kill off some species.
So I think that climate change is one of those topics that everybody has an opinion on, but nobody has information about. It's just like they kind of make a snap judgment, and it's just like, oh no, it's way warmer this winter than it was when I was a kid. Well, yeah, of course it is. And I think it's because the way that we as human beings look at things, our time frames on things, like we look at things on such a small scale when the cycle of the earth is so vast that like it could be beyond our lifetimes. We could be in the middle of a cycle that could span hundreds of years as far as weather and climate change goes, and we'll never know it because we're but a blink of an eye in the scale of the existence of this planet. So I haven't seen anything that necessarily convinces me that yes, climate change is 100% real. I haven't seen anything that convinces me that it's 100% not either. That's why I said I keep my mind open to both possibilities. I do like to hear things like I said about the ozone repairing itself, like that's encouraging, I feel like. And then there are things that are troubling, of course, like there are, record temperatures and stuff, but those records are set. Hey, again, those records are set
from the past
100 years.
Yeah, from when we actually started keeping track of the temperature.
If you look at the data, they're like the record high was 102 degrees in 1952. Okay, it was like, well, what about in 1852?
Exactly.
What about in 1652? They didn't have a thermometer to measure the temperature the same way that we did. You know, so like, how do you know?
You don't. Exactly. It's just people grab. I think it's just industries trying to grab at the next big energy. It's just a big industry, and they want to be the power. For sure.
I mean, the fossil fuel thing definitely is a problem, and it's something that we need to get away from. I mean, 100%. I'm all on board for that. But it's all. I mean, everything is money. It's all motivated by money one way or the other. So,
do you know how much power we use to run these supercomputers?
How much?
I don't know the exact. I don't know the exact number, but I know it is way more than we use for pretty much anything else.
Yeah.
So I just think this whole we're gonna go digital with emails and all this other stuff, and I don't know, just everything. Well, even just to mine a Bitcoin, it's like you use more power in a day than we use in this house in a year.
I don't even understand Bitcoin, so I'm not gonna comment on that. But there's no going back. I don't feel like, honestly.
No, me either.
Short of a catastrophic solar flare, as we've talked about, wiping out technology. We're only going forward. We're not going backwards. So. I don't know what there is to be done.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait.
Yeah, someone's gonna have to come up with some kind of sustainable renewable energy source that
they say fusion's the next one.
Yeah, the next one to create a black hole, suck us all into it.
I think we're already living in a fucking simulation, so it doesn't matter.
There's a good possibility. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? We'll never find out.
Maybe. If you take enough drugs, you will. All right, guys. I guess we should try to wrap it up here because now we're just...
We've kind of been rambling. This is fun, I guess. But
we hope you enjoyed this episode, and hopefully we'll have some good topics for next week, and hopefully we get some emails and some likes on our Facebook page and some... people pissed off at us and people agreeing with us. We definitely want some interaction. And until next time, I'm Scott.
And I'm Drew.
And this is Sorry If You're Offended.
Take care, guys.